WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I'm in Scotland at the distillery GlenAllachie, and I have an 8-year-old Koval Organic Rye Quarter Cask Finish Whiskey. Ooh, 48%. As I mentioned, 8 years old, and this is part of the GlenAllachie's new Wood Finish series. There will be a 10-year-old port wood finish, and there will also be a 12-year-old PX, also Pedro Jimenez, and this is their entry level with 8 years and Koval Rye. We know from Robert Biernecker from Koval in Chicago that they have their nice little 50-liter, their quarter casks here. And they are made from Minnesota, white oak, and they need to be used for something else after they've been used once in Chicago. And so these casks are now being sold to Europe, just like bourbon casks are, and then we use them over here the second, third, fourth, fifth, I hope not the sixth time. Now, GlenAllachie is a distillery with a fairly old and yet very young history. It was bought about 2 years ago by Billy Walker. Billy Walker is a titan of the Scotch whiskey industry. He reopened Ben Riach, he saved GlenDronach, and he also resurrected Glenglassaugh. All three of these he sold off to Brown-Forman so that they actually have now a foothold in the Scottish whiskey industry. Okay, very, very nice. And now he said, well, I should be retiring, but nope, I have other things to do. And he bought GlenAllachie. Why GlenAllachie? Because there were basically zero bottlings, official distillery bottlings on the market. Everything was used in blends. Very, very rare you found a independent bottler that got their hands on a cask. And so he had the opportunity to actually create this brand from scratch. And that's why it's Glen with a capital A with Allachie, just like the GlenDronach or Ben Riach with a capital R. That's his signature thing he does first. GlenAllachie means the valley of stone or of rock. And so they tried to use the flintstone in the stone chiseled font for their logos. All right, very, very good. This is so new, it doesn't even have a whiskey-based number. This is so new, I don't even have a price for it. I was actually given these samples at the Limburg Whiskey Fair in April, and they're not even really on the market yet at the time of the filming. All right, so see where they land up first, either in the UK or the US or here in Germany. Often it is Germany, which I'm very, very thankful for. All right, so let's pour some of this in here. GlenAllachie, for all of us YouTube fans, we're well aware that Ralphie named the GlenAllachie, I'm sorry, I only have a little tiny sample bottle, the 12, as the whiskey of the year 2018. A few people compared the whiskey, I think it was Aquavite, that he named something else, and I think it was actually Trenny and C, they did a comparison, and others did a comparison, and blind, the GlenAllachie 12 always wins. It's a very, very, very well done, well balanced whiskey. So going to our 8-year-old versus our 12-year-old, our 48% versus our 46% I have on the nose. A nice, light, mint, ginger, malty, vanilla creation. There's a tiny little bit of something in there I wouldn't be able to localize at the very beginning. I know now that it's actually part of that rye cask. And the very first time I went in there, I was like, it's like sesame seed oil, or what is in there? There's something a little bit unusual. My brain couldn't locate that factor. A very, very, very diluted rye is, in my brain category, sesame seed oil. Interesting. Over here, we have so much more fruitiness, so much more wood, so much more of a nice, great we have a grapefruit in there. I always associate the distillery character of GlenAllachie with a ripe, maybe even overripe grapefruit. So let's try it. 48%. I'm going to add water in a moment as well, which I did forget to do in my German video. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. It starts off very, very sweet. It's not a honey sweet. It's more of like an overripe melon sweet. Yeah, good description. Wow. It's almost a little oily. The viscosity, the mouthfeel is actually dead on. It's not too watery. It's not too thick. It's exactly what I would want it to be. And then in the background, there's this weird, and I'm going to use the word on purpose, weird. It's not a wrong flavor, but it's a flavor I normally don't have in my scotch. And the entire time I'm just kind of thinking about this. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? And then you finally end up at maybe a little bit of a rye moment, but only because it's on the piece of paper. I don't think I'd be trained enough to actually identify a rye that has been washed out, that's been diluted like that. All right, let's try the 12. I totally understand why GlenAllachie named that as his Whiskey of the Year 2018. Got some really good stuff. I mean, it's not going to be a Springbank 25, all right? GlenAllachie picks whiskeys that are at a normal price point that you can actually buy without having to break the bank. And the GlenAllachie 12 years old actually does it. Very, very, very nice. The GlenAllachie. So a couple little drops here of water into the 8-year-old Koval Rye finished spirit. 48%. The water did it justice, to be actually honest. It gets more vanilla, more honeysuckle. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Honeysuckle. Got my new word. Honeysuckle. For the 8 years and for the... I'm going to hope it's going to be a price between 35 and 40 euros. That's actually very nice. Well, I'm going to give it a solid C+. Value for money, also a C. C++. It's not up there in the B range yet. Maybe on a good day. But very, very nice. This is definitely a B. B minus. Depends on how I feel on that one day. It's better. The GlenAllachie 12-year-old is better in my personal opinion, because I like the fruitiness, but this with a little bit of water turns into more of a vanilla type of honeysuckle moment, and it's also very, very nice, actually. If I had the choice between the two of them, I would go for the normal 12-year-old. Absolutely justified to have something like this out on the market, especially because this is my question of the day. What do we do with old rye barrels? Now, to be very, very honest, bourbon has to be in virgin oak. Does rye have to be in virgin oak? I know that corn whiskey doesn't have to be in virgin oak. They can use reused barrels for that. Question number one, I'm just a little bit uninformed at the moment. And question number two is, what do we use the old rye whiskey barrels for? Now, the old sherry cask we use in whiskey, the old port cask we use in whiskey, the old ex-bourbon cask we use in whiskey, but what do we use the old ex-rye casks for? GlenMorangie had a limited edition 2018 release called Spios, and it was actually finished and or matured in a rye whiskey cask. David McMurray did a grain whiskey that was finished in a rye quarter cask from Koval. But other than those few exceptions, I have no idea what's happening to all these rye casks in the whiskey industry. There's got to be at least 1 million of those in the last 10 years that have somehow popped up in the market. Are they just made into flower pots, or what's going on? So that's my question of the day. Maybe someone can help me out there. So Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare, at least at the moment. It's still rare and exotic whiskeys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, tell others about me and this unique channel of me tasting whiskey you'll probably never ever see or never ever find, but that's one of the things I like to do. All right, all the best. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are my days where I publish my videos. Hope to see you soon. Bye.